I said, hey, yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Mahados, and we're back with another video. Hope you guys are doing well. Time to do our weekly update, taking a look at every single chart really quickly as usual. Again, Bitcoin has had a great week. Nice green close right here. We got about 1 day left before we can see what this candle looks like. But it looks like it's probably going to chop sideways here. But again, we are holding above the 6-month supply zone because, again, when you look at the 6-month supply zone, this is, again, the only level that we can kind of look at, for Bitcoin, because again, there's no price action ahead of it. I do believe at some point in time we will be retesting this level, so we'll see what happens. But again, it is a very, important level to retest at some point in time. I even do think it's possible that we retest back down to here, which sounds crazy, right? So, we'll see what happens. Again, it could be completely wrong. But it's very important that, you're not completely a moon boy. You're blindsided by euphoria, because at the same time, there's good arguments to believe that the market is going to continue going up. Because when you look at total, absolutely looking amazing, right? Something I've shared, again, all the way back since August of 2022. I do think that the chart here is going to continue ramping up towards 2.57 trillion. So, this is going to continue going up, in my opinion, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So that's why I'm bullish on altcoins, and somewhat on Bitcoin. And so, again, there's a lot of good arguments on both sides. What is clear to me is that altcoins are going to continue running to the upside, because when you look at total 2, we are actually running into 1 trillion very soon for altcoins. Again, there is a minor resistance here at this level, so it would be wise to take profits at some point at this level, if, again, your strategy allows that, because a lot of us are buying and holding our altcoins, not really looking to, cut positions. But this is a very important level for me, because what we saw for total was actually a rejection at this level over here, with this wick over here. So I think this was a 1 month supply zone. So if you look right here on the 1 month, this area right here is very clearly a resistance, and that's kind of why you saw this wick on this level over here. I can't move it because, again, time frames won't allow me, but that wick right there is a clear sign that this was some sort of resistance. And so right now, again, we are ramping up towards the upside. And I do think that even though Bitcoin does look kind of interesting in terms of whether we continue going higher, I do think that the rest of the market will continue going higher because of total and total 2. So I'm very bullish on pretty much the whole market moving to the upside, because, again, Ethereum looks extremely bullish here. I do think this continues going up to 3,500. Absolutely nothing in front of it. This whole area is a void. So there's not really any, price action in front of it to slow down this to going up to 3,500. Absolutely nothing, right? So, well, just a matter of if. Just a matter of when, not if. And then also taking a look over here, we have a perfect reclaim of this range low back from 2021 of June. So, this area has been very clear for either acting as a support or resistance. All the way back in 2021, we saw this bounce off this level, again coming back down here in 2022 of June, reacting to the level again, holding it, doing very good, going back to the upside again. And now we had consolidation here, which is probably the last time we see this before we have a bigger move, probably breaking out to the highs. So we'll see what happens. But again, people are rotating out of Bitcoin into Ethereum, so this is very, very bullish to continue going to the upside here. So very, very clean for Ethereum, and I do think it will continue going up. Also, looking at XRP, it's ranging here for 2,200 days. I don't see a reason why this is not going to go up. Guys, this is, again, contracting to levels we've never seen before on any chart, okay? This is very, very clean. A lot of people hate XRP, but this will probably be the most hated rally in crypto, right? So when we look here, very, very clean, and we're probably going to see some sort of run soon. But all in all, this is a contracting pattern, which means that the volatility is squeezing, right? Because if we take the base of this triangle and try to fit it into the rest of this pattern, right, it doesn't fit. Why? Because basically the volatility is increasing inside the triangle, or decreasing in the triangle, which is why the square doesn't fit at the end of the triangle, right? So very, very obvious, very, very apparent. And for targets, guys, if this breaks out the way I expect it to, you're supposed to take the base of the triangle and place it at the apex and then target the highs, right? Which is somewhere around $9 or $8. We'll see exactly where that goes, but that's pretty much what I'm targeting anyways. So it'll be fun to watch and see what happens should we get a nice breakout sometime in the near future. And then taking a look at others as well, which is going to be our stablecoin dominance chart. All right, let me see here. This is actually the wrong one. Here it is. This is very, very important to me because, again, back in 2021, January through May, we saw alt season. And in between that, stablecoins went sideways, which is kind of the same thing that's happening over here. Stablecoins are continuing to go sideways. And that's a very clear indication that we will continue seeing alts lead the way, right? And that's kind of why I'm saying that Bitcoin is not so important, because of this indicator specifically. If altcoins are continuing to chop the way they are, or I'm sorry, Bitcoin is chopping the way it is at this level, or maybe it doesn't break to a new high, right? It's not technically chopping, but what I'm saying is if this continues to chop the same way it did over here in 2021, where the price action starts pretty much ending like a wedge, then this is obviously the beginning of a wedge, and stablecoins are showing you signs of like that coming to life, because again, we are going sideways here, and this may continue going sideways unless this keeps making a new low, right? So as it stands, I do believe Bitcoin is going to continue chopping, but at the same time, it's contingent that this doesn't make a new low. So I think that's very clear. And total, again, is very, very bullish. So I do think that we're going to continue ranging to the upside here, but it's just a matter of how things progress week over week, at the same time of looking at Bitcoin dominance, because this also does look very interesting. Again, this is alt season of 2021 breaking down, right? The same way that right now this looks like distribution to me, right? This whole thing looks like distribution. I do expect some sort of breakdown that takes us all the way down to 35%, which would be absolutely crazy. Or maybe it doesn't go to 35%. Maybe it goes back down to like what, 38%. We'll see what really happens. I'm not really too crazy about certain targets. As long as it breaks down from here, that's going to lead to a massive, massive alt run. So that's pretty much where my energy is focused on right now, right? I'm focusing on altcoins because I do believe that the majority of these alts are going to continue leading the way like they have been, and like I've been speaking about pretty much month over month, right? In my Bitcoin analysis, I've been talking about why I believe alts are going to continue running, and on Twitter, I've showed countless examples of pretty much alts potentially leading the way, which has been aging pretty well. So, that's pretty much it on that. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, total, altcoins, stables, they all look very, very interesting in favor of altcoins, in my opinion. And also want to take a look at certain other things like the stock market, right? As of right now, this is absolutely insane because it looks like Nvidia is carrying the whole entire stock market, right? And pretty much this is very interesting because, as is making new all-time highs, everyone's euphoric, but I'm actually the complete opposite. I do believe that we should be worried. I do believe that, once rate cuts do come in, that will pretty much be the end of all of this fun. So I am very, very cautious. At the same time, I am very bullish. I am also very cautious because I do not want to get blindsided by euphoria. Because last time I was super blindsided by euphoria was in 2017 when I got absolutely wrecked. So, anytime I see a new all-time high, I'm thinking about where I want to take profits and where I would like to cut on certain positions. So we'll see what happens. Again, it'll just be a matter of how this ages, when it decides to correct, and just watching out for corrections, right? Because I do believe that this previous all-time high will be retested. So we'll see what happens. Just a matter of time, right? DXY is also very interesting here. I do believe that we are in some sort of retracement. But the main question is, do we get to this low first or do we get to this high first, right? Because what we've seen in 2022 was that when DXY goes up, the whole entire crypto market goes down. We saw the stock market also get corrected. And right now, what we saw was as DXY is dropping, again, it's positive for risk on assets. So we're just watching very closely. I would love to see this continue going down. But, I'm very cautious and just looking at this chart as, another piece of confluence, whether or not it goes up or down. It's just very, important to watch out for. But right now, it is ranging for the most part. Not really very clear of what exactly is going to happen here. But again, following this big rally to the upside, I do think it consolidates and maybe even goes higher again. But I do believe that there might be one more retracement before maybe going up to the highs again. And so it will be just very important to see whether we take out this high or this low first. Because again, if we take out the low, very bullish for altcoins and crypto and risk on assets. If we take out the highs, that may be a warning sign. So I hope that does not happen. But again, I am not going to be blind or act silly if I see it happen. Also, looking at gold, another chart that is very bullish here. This one I'm neutral on. I do think that right now it is continuing to chop, but is actually not breaking down, which is quite interesting because again, if this breaks to the upside, right, I mean, pretty much is over, right? Crypto, risk on assets, they're all going to pretty much start dumping because never in history has gold went on a rampage while the stock market has also gone up. So we'll see what happens. I do think that gold will enter a absolute bull market or pretty much a tear to the upside here if we do see a big market sell-off for the equities. And so again, we'll see what happens, but this is going to be very interesting simply because I do think that it may even range for a little while before seeing an absolute impulse wave to the upside for gold. So just a game of patience here for gold, but I do think that this chart is absolutely primed and ready to break out because again, if we look at this chart as a whole, look how much times the top of this range has been tested. This is absolutely telling, this wick here, that we are eventually going to the upside here sometime soon, which is why I think the run for the stock market is limited versus how many times we've actually hit the lows here, again, for gold. So I just believe that we're going to see a rampage soon. And so that's why I believe that once the rate cuts happen, stock market and everything else is going to crumble. Gold, DXY are probably going to continue to go back to the upside. So it's very, very important that I just, keep a level mindset, right? Because a lot of people get blinded by like crazy gains in the market, and I completely understand that. But at the same time, you just want to make sure that you are not being blindsided when this stuff happens and when your altcoins will absolutely berserk, because it will happen. And I want to look at a few altcoins here as well before I have this video up. OXO is an AI altcoin that is looking absolutely scrumptious here. Vertical price action, hovering above the 70 EMA, going sideways. I do think this is going to have another leg up, potentially up to $1. Again, not financial advice. I think Rory here is looking very interesting as well. So we'll see what happens. Holding the low over here at 120. I do think that we're probably going to run up to the retracement here at $9, 9.90ish. So we'll see what happens. Also taking a look at FET, just entered new all-time highs. Very, very nice. I do think this is going to come back up again soon and probably head toward double digits, right? Probably sounds crazy, but we'll see what happens. If we get nice impulsive price action to the upside like we saw over here, we're going to continue running, right? But if we start getting slow, choppy, grinding price action that looks like this, right? Just slow and moving up very, very slowly, then guess what? That's probably a sign to cut. So we'll see what happens. But right now, these are very massive, very green, and pretty much very, very impulsive candles to the upside. So there's absolutely no reason to be bearish. Woo as well here, another one that I like a lot. Holding pretty much the #1 level for the chart, and now breaking above its yearly high and breaking above the previous high, all is set back in December. Very, very nice to see. The last time Woo was trading at 54 cents, or like it hit today, was all the way back in 2022 of April. So it's nice to see this breakout. I do think it's going to $1 before it, it stops again. So another 2x is lined up for Woo. This is probably your next level of resistance. So something like this, and then maybe go sideways, and then maybe one more time like this, and then it probably runs up again. So we'll see what happens. I do see Woo also hitting double digits potentially in the bull market, or in his bull cycle. So we'll see exactly what happens. Again, I don't want to be completely too bullish on some of these altcoins, but it is very interesting. Demo as well doesn't look too shabby, sitting in a triangle. We'll see what happens here. I don't want to see this low being taken, but again, we're trading above its initial resistance, which is around 40 cents. And as long as we're holding above here, I don't see why we can't hit $1. Demo is also a very interesting project. If you guys know what DPIN is, decentralized infrastructure, has a lot of room to run to the upside. So we'll see what happens. Again, it's going to take some time to age here, but this is a very clean chart in my opinion. And another one like Root, this is not too bad. Again, the chart does look like it's consolidating at this level, and this is like a gaming AI token. Investors are Ripple and a bunch of others, and so this is not too shabby as well. But again, we'll see what happens here. It doesn't have that much history, but it has the narrative and GameFi behind it, so we'll see exactly what happens. I'm not too crazy about this one, but my favorite one of all the coins I showed you guys is going to be Crown, right? So we have a clear 3 waves up here. This one can technically even be a B wave, which is technically means that this can be, you know, another move in terms of, you know, like I'm just gonna draw it so you guys can see what I'm saying. Like technically the alternate count is this one right here that I just showed you guys. And I'm gonna get rid of these little lines so that you guys can know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And then I'm gonna even take this down a degree so that it looks very, very clean for you guys. Okay, so basically, you know, there's two counts here. The first count is that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this fifth wave coming up here is going to pretty much end the cycle at, you know, 10 bucks, close to 10 bucks. The other example is that this is a big one, right? This move to the upside is a B wave, right? So technically in Elliott wave, there's always a ABC after every move. So technically this can be an ABC correction. And what that means is that, yes, even though the price went higher, you're probably saying, how does price go higher in a B wave, which sounds absolutely crazy. It's very possible if you look up what a running flat is. A running flat usually leads to a higher price and also doesn't retrace all the way back down to the lows, which is very clear what happened here. And then pretty much that would end the wave 2, which is right here, which that would mean that our wave 3 would take us to around 10 bucks, which would mean that there's one more wave after that, which is just crazy to think about. But again, I'm going to monitor this and see how it ages, of course, but this is a very, very clean chart. I do think that it can easily hit 10 bucks and even much higher because there's so much size of this crown game that can just lead to so much bullish price action in terms of how much the user activity has grown, how many sides of the game there are. There's an NFT ecosystem. You can stake your tokens. People are doing races, which you can technically gamble on, which I don't do myself. But again, I focus more so on the NFT side. People are breeding horses and just making money flipping horses. And then you have people who are staking their crown token and earning revenue on people using the tracks, right? So there's so many sides of the game. And the fact that it's coming to mobile and the Kentucky Derby is coming up on May 4th, that just means that there's so much more for this game to pretty much like just explore. So again, I'm very bullish on Crown. One of my top picks here, guys, with max conviction. I'm super long, and I do think that it's going to go very, very crazy in a full-blown alt season, which we have not experienced just yet, even though we are seeing tastes of it across the market. So with that, please like and sub if you haven't already. And as always, hodl, hodl, hodl. Peace.